I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of our speakers so far. Can we get a massive cheer for them, please? Our last speaker of the day is none other than our own Felix Fern. Just go around and he.
Sorry about the rain. Every time. Hi, I'm back. My name is Felix Fern. My pronouns are he/they. If you came to the trans rights protest on 4th of July last year in Parliament Square, you might recognise me as the lead organiser from them. I closed out that protest with a very flustered and on-the-spot speech, but I'm hopefully a bit more prepared this time. I am a non-binary trans man. I am 33 years old. That means that I came out as trans 20 years ago when I was just 13. A lot of things have changed in that time. Language has developed, terminology has evolved, and the level of visibility and representation of trans people in the public eye compared to 20 years ago is night and day. How do I say that? Don't worry. I have a personal story to tell about how I was denied any and all gender care from the NHS for over 10 years, even back when waiting lists were only 6 to 12 months. About how Dr. James Barrett at Charing Cross told me that I didn't deserve hormones because I was disabled and therefore not contributing to society. I have 20 years of abuse, of scars, of failing to hold on. But the fact is that at the end of the day, I have 20 years of survival, which is why I'm here talking to you now. Why I'm able to hear all of these amazing stories, but that simply isn't the case for a lot of people. So instead I want to talk to you about Helen. I met Helen when I was 13 on the internet. I told her about being transgender, but it just wasn't something she could wrap her head around. Over time we drifted apart, but years later we reconnected, only for me to discover that we had both transitioned, and she was now this amazing, intelligent trans woman. I was very lucky to have her back in my life for a few years, where we bonded instantly over our shared experiences. One day I woke up to check my Facebook messages, and someone I didn't know had sent me a message saying that they were so sorry to deliver bad news, but that Helen always talked about me, so they wanted me to know. It was Helen's friend letting me know that Helen had taken her own life, but that it wasn't spontaneous. She had planned it down to every last detail with medical precision. Helen killed herself because this country wasn't prepared to ensure that she could live her life without pain. She struggled to get gender care, she struggled to get help for her disabilities, and when she was finally on medication that allowed her to walk a mile and stay on her feet for 30 minutes, it was too late. In preparing for this speech, I found her old online journal, which is what we used to communicate for a long time, and it detailed her decline in great detail. I read her final 3 entries. The first 2 were titled Suicide and then Not Suicide. But after that was her very last entry before we lost her, and it was this amazing science theory piece that began, did you ever stop to wonder the effects the Earth's spin has on our gravitation, or her experience of gravity? It continues, I have long held the intuition that the faster a planet spins, the less we feel gravity while standing on the surface. If the planet was spinning sufficiently fast, we'd be moving at orbital velocity and feel weightless. And if the planet was spinning even faster, we'd be thrown off into the void, to all appearances being pushed away from the surface. We'd have to hold ourselves down to stay attached. Helen couldn't hold herself down anymore. I don't want to see any more marginalised people thrown off into the void, whilst the government steams ahead past them, leaving their needs and their rights behind to fade away into nothingness. I will not stand sit here and say nothing when people are dying because this country is not being held accountable for a systematic hatred for anyone that is different. 20 years and I'm still afraid of being attacked, still afraid of losing my own fight not to take my own life, still afraid of losing more people around me. At this point, I've become a broken record with how often I say this, but I'm not going to stop until it changes. For trans people, every day is a protest. When you wake up, when you step outside your front door, when you take a breath, your very existence is a protest. Whether you are here today or not, you are an activist. I protest because I don't want other people to have to. This cannot go on. We're going to finish, so I need Laura to come up.
One sec.
Do you have a visible version for that?
Yes.
Cool!
Shall I hold it?
Helpful! It's trying.
There you go.
Thank you all so much for coming along today and being here with us. I want to invite Laura to come back so that we can finish this together. Sorry, I had a time.
Thank you so much to everyone that has joined us today. With an especially massive thank you to all of our phenomenal speakers who have put so much work and emotional labour into telling their stories today and helping us to fight this fight.
I'd also like to thank all of the volunteer stewards and first aiders who have given up their Friday to not just protest, but to make sure that everyone here is able to protest as safely as possible, and to Cole who helped lead them today.
A huge thank you to our two BSL interpreters, Peter and Miles, and to all of the people who donated money to make sure that we could book them here today. There was so much generosity during our fundraiser that we were able to donate excess funds to Deaf Rainbow UK, who create amazing resources for making events accessible.
Finally, a massive thank you to our fellow organisers who have worked incredibly hard over the last couple of months to make today happen, Shira and Amelia. Today simply wouldn't have happened without them giving up so much free time. Also a big thank you to Laura, who immediately stepped up as soon as I mentioned that I was going to plan another trans rights protest, and has worked tirelessly with me to make sure that we have a platform here today.
Making noise. Write to your MP and let them know how concerned you are about this government's increasing hostility towards marginalised groups. Support local LGBTQ+ groups and charities. Our protest demands are available online. You can send them to your MP or use them as a guideline to share your own concerns. Until things change, there will be more protests. Thank you very much.
Sooner than expected, so go and have a lovely day. Self-care is very important.
The sun has come out so you can have some fun now that we've done the sad bit in the rain.